Turning now to the string of major victories for Democrats last night in several key races. Here to help break down all the results is CBS News Executive Director of Elections and Surveys, Anthony Salvanto, who, unbeknownst to him, lives here now. So, Anthony, let's talk about one of the huge newsmakers from last night, Zohran Mamdani.
Sure.
He came into this race, a 34-year-old assemblyman from Queens. Now he is leading a city bigger than, 38 states? How did he do this?
Right. Look, here's a map of Mandami's wins. These are New York neighborhoods, and you can see how sweeping the victory is. What his campaign very successfully did was target the kinds of voters, including some who don't typically vote in mayoral elections. I'm going to bring up this one because I'm going to show you what we saw in terms of first-time voters. Look at this. He got 2/3 of people, this is their first time voting in a mayor's race, right? The other one I want to show you, because it's a big factor, young voters, right? His campaign, very successful at turning them out. Very sophisticated, I think, because you really saw that uptick, young people turning out. Look at that, and he wins 78% of them. So that's a big part of the story.
And can you just briefly, before we move on to New Jersey, talk to us about the turnout and the sheer numbers?
In a word, high.
Okay.
For a mayor's race, very high, historically high.
Okay, so going to New Jersey, we thought this was going to be close. It didn't end up being as close as we initially thought. Yeah,
the thing about New Jersey is we're going to come back to the turnout story there in many ways, right? I'm going to show you this. I'm going to do a quick comparison to how things were in 2024. You see Mikey Sherrill exceeds Kamala Harris's numbers. Democrats, we're going to look forward from here. Democrats are going to take this as part of a roadmap for how to campaign going forward, because she won back a lot of Democratic areas that Democrats had given up to Trump, if you will, back in 2024. And the other part of this, I'm going to find a slide because we have so many exit polls here. I'm going to show you the economy, because this was another theme going throughout the night. Look, she wins 2/3 of voters for whom the economy is the most important issue.
Incredible. We're going to pull more on that thread with Fin in a minute, how Democrats use this. Energizer Bunny, thank you so much, Anthony Salvanto. So let's focus in on those results out of New York City, where Democratic Socialist Zohran Mamdani defeated former Governor Andrew Cuomo to become the city's youngest mayor in more than a century. CBS News political director Fin Gómez joins us. Fin, Mamdani was able to build a coalition without the support of Democratic Senate leader Chuck Schumer from New York City. House Minority Leader and New York's own Hakeem Jeffries endorsed him at the 11th hour. How was he able to pull this off?
Yeah, Mamdani's victory was built from the ground up. He literally came out of nowhere. He bypassed that traditional Democratic power structure and instead tapped into a growing base of younger, disaffected New Yorkers, working class and immigrant voters, frustrated by the high cost of living in the nation's biggest city. Yes, he is a Democratic socialist. He was adamant about that during his victory speech last night, if you remember, but his message focused on affordability, rent freezes, cost of things. That resonated with voters who felt left behind by establishment Democrats. He also mobilized a strong roots network powered by progressive groups in digital organizing. You remember all that social media campaign that he did? That turned out new voters in those outer boroughs that Anthony was talking about and across the city. His focus was on coalition building around kitchen table economics and energy from the left. But he was also opposed by establishment Democrats, as you know, moderates, and those wary of Mamdani's stances on Israel. Now, how the mayor-elect will navigate those divisions and how he will govern now is the big question, and how he will implement some of those big campaign promises that he ran on. Those are the big questions now that he is the mayor-elect.
And, yesterday we saw moderate Democrats win races in New Jersey and Virginia, a Democratic Socialist winning in New York City. What do these wins say about the best path forward for Democrats?
The best path forward is essentially, yes, talking about New Jersey and Virginia in those campaigns, centrist won. And it's really about meeting where the voters are and really focusing on issues that matter. Again, the big issue that ties all these races together is affordability, cost of things, and that's what they ran on. But it is definitely a more center-left approach than Mamdani's, and that's going to be a big question that Democrats have to answer looking ahead to the midterms. Lindsay.
Fin Gómez, thank you. There are several other key races that we're watching from last night. In addition to electing its first female governor, in Virginia, Democrat Jay Jones won the race for Attorney General amid scandal. Last month, text messages Jones sent in 2022 surfaced where he spoke violently about a Republican lawmaker. Jones admitted to those messages and apologized. And in California, voters approved a proposition to redraw the state's congressional maps, a move that could boost Democrats' chances in next year's midterm elections. The move is meant to try and offset GOP redistricting efforts in Texas that say 5 blue seats flipped red. The California Republican Party has filed a federal lawsuit over the redistricting push.